Hi and welcome back to my mortgage channel. It is Sarah Irons. I've been a broker for over 16 years. I have done my own property investing. I've been an estate agent. I also advise on commercial finance as well. So I feel like I'm well placed to share my knowledge with you to help you on your mortgage journey. So I've been doing this mini series which is made up of 12 little videos which sort of have every element of preparing basically for a mortgage. This is aimed towards the sort of clients that are newer to buying property, maybe your first property, maybe your second, maybe your first buy-to-let, or you're remortgaging. So people that are newer to the market and not really sure of the process. So hopefully this will help you. I thought it was a good starting point. And I'm going to go on and do other series sort of aimed at the more sort of developer, commercial landlord, portfolio landlord, and so I'm sort of catering for all clients, but we're starting here. And yeah, I am just welcoming everybody into my home as well. I've been doing my own sort of large refurb for the last year, and we're finally back in. It's still work in progress, it's not complete yet, but I'll give you a tour of the house at some point and just talk you through what we did and how we changed it. But yeah, that was a learning curve as well, which is awesome. Every day is a school day, and obviously knowledge is power, so if I can share some of my knowledge with you, then that's fab. So anyway, moving on, this little video is about valuations. So I get asked all the time, what type of valuation should I have for my mortgage? Should I have home buyers? Should I go for a full structural, or should I just stick with the mortgage valuation? So I thought I'd just talk you through the three of them, and then it might help you decide which way to go, and just give you a little bit of insight into how the lenders work with these as well. So if that's the sort of thing you are keen to hear more of, then keep watching. Okay, so we have three types of valuation. Survey, valuation, they're the same thing. They're all carried out by RICS surveyors. The mortgage valuation is, or the mortgage valuer is nominated by your lender. You will pay for it 9 times out of 10 if it's a purchase. If it's a remortgage, often they are free. They sort of come with a benefits package of a free valuation and free legals. The lender will nominate the valuer, so you don't get a choice. And they will then call the estate agent if it's a purchase and make an appointment to go and see that property that you want to buy, or obviously call you if it's a remortgage and they want to come and see your house. Sometimes it will be a drive-by, so if there's lots of market evidence that they can see when they do their sort of back-end due diligence, there's lots of websites they can use to see what prices have sold for. They're normally looking at a similar style and size property to yours that's sold in the area within the last 3 months. They're called comparables. They will often use those comparables to get a guide of the value of your home. That will give them a good idea, and if it's quite a low loan to value and the lender feels safe, then they might just ask the valuer just to do a drive-by instead of actually coming in and doing an internal valuation. This is just to make sure the property is standing and it's not been knocked down, but they have a pretty good sort of comfortable feel what the value of your property is going to be from the research that they've done. If it's the higher sort of loan to value, then, or you've done an extension to the property, or you've done a refurb and you think that the price is much higher now than they're seeing, then often you can ask them, you do want an internal valuation, and a valuer will then book an appointment to come inside. First survey type is just a simple mortgage valuation report. This is the basic valuation. It's the cheapest price if you are paying for it. If you do pay, you do have a right to see the report. If you don't pay, then often you don't have a right to see the report, so just bear that in mind. And this is going to be a good enough report to let the lender know and feel happy that they're lending on a sound property. So rest assured, if the property is got any structural damage, any subsidence, any damp, timber rot, anything like that that's obvious to the valuer, then this will come up in the survey. And if it's not a property the lender feels happy to lend on, then obviously they won't lend, or they will ask you for a more detailed report on an element that they were concerned about within that valuation. But rest assured, if the lender's happy with the valuation, then you're buying a pretty sound property, and that should be enough to satisfy you. A more in-depth survey, the next one up is called a Homebuyers Report. This is suitable for a property that's been built within the last 100 years. It goes into some more detail about guttering, walls, doors, windows, outside buildings, damp, timber rot, subsidence, landslip, anything like that they might look in the loft and have that. It will be a more detailed report than the basic one. And if you're buying a property that is over 100 years old, maybe it's a period property or listed building, or something quirky about it, or some obvious cracks from windows down, or some obvious damp, or something that really is giving you some concern, then a full structural building survey might be best for you. And the difference in this is just that it goes into a lot more detail than the other two. And obviously they're all priced accordingly, so they're going to go up in price as you jump up the scale of types of valuation. Commercial property, that's another ball game altogether. That has a long or a short commercial form, and we'll go into that on another video. This is just for basic buy-to-let or residential property at the moment for this series. Okay, so do you get a mortgage valuation or a home buyer's report? Okay, so if there's something that worries you about the property, or you want a more in-depth valuation, then by all means do a home buyer's report. But for the lender, if you're assuming you're getting a mortgage valuation report is suitable, and the lender will be happy to lend on the back of that, obviously, if it comes back okay. If you pay more money and get a more in detail valuation, then the valuer is going to put more information on that valuation report. So there's going to be things that are detrimental, there's going to be things that he recommends looking into, there's going to be things he might recommend doing work to. If the lender sees that, if you appoint this home buyer's report via the lender's going to see the report. That can be detrimental to your mortgage, because if they actually then see some more detail about the effects of the property, the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to ask you for a report on that specific thing. They may then ask you to do the work on that specific thing, or they may retain some of the mortgage for the level of cost that that report states it's going to cost. So for example, if there's a damp problem and the report states that fixing this is going to cost £10,000, then the lender may be happy to lend, but they're going to retain £10,000 of the loan because of that on the report. So it can be really detrimental to your mortgage, where have you just had the basic mortgage valuation, that wouldn't have come up at all. So just be careful of that. By all means have a home buyer's report, but pay for it yourself privately. That's the best thing to do. Then you have peace of mind on the problem that you wanted to explore, but it's only for your eyes, and the lender isn't going to see it, and it's not going to cause problems to your mortgage, because you know that could be quite difficult on a purchase, especially in this market where properties are being snapped up as soon as they come on the market. If you've got to then start renegotiating with a vendor and say, you know, I need to have this report done, it's going to cost this, and now the report's back and it's telling me there's 10k of work that needs to be done, you might have to renegotiate the purchase price, you might need to share the cost of that work, or you might need to pay for that work, and you might not even have secured your property, or hopefully you haven't secured the property, so it would be a bit foolish to exchange on a property when you don't have a mortgage prepared. So yeah, it can really cause some problems, and in this crazy market, I would really recommend that you go for the basic mortgage valuation, and then you get a home buyer's or a building structural out of your own money privately with your own surveyor for your eyes only, and then you can decide if it's a property you want to proceed with, but it doesn't affect your mortgage. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that's maybe helped you as a guide as to what to do and what the differences are between the three. And yeah, any questions, pop them below. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on my next video.